In the far north of Scotland, there lived a family in a small cottage near the seashore. The father was a seal catcher. He sold seal skins. And he was very successful because not too far from the house there were rocks where the seals would come up every morning to bask in the sunshine. Now the people in that area talked about the very large seals. They said that they were not really seals at all, but mermen and merwomen. They called them rowans. They said that these rowans had human thought and human language. They could change into human beings at will. The seal catcher said, "Ha, that's a good story." Now one day the seal catcher was out in the morning practicing his craft, and there on the rocks was an enormous seal. He went up behind it and he stabbed it with his knife. The seal let out a loud cry of pain and slipped into the sea, taking with it his hunting knife. The seal catcher walked home slowly, downcast. Not only had he lost a valuable seal skin, but he'd also lost his hunting knife. He heard horse hooves approaching from behind, and when he turned, he saw a large black horse coming toward him with a tall rider on its back, a strange-looking man dressed in nice riding clothing. He stopped next to the seal catcher and said, "Tell me, what is your trade?" "Oh, well, I'm a seal catcher." "Oh, just the person I'm looking for. I would like to order as many seal skins as you can give me." That made the seal catcher feel much better until he heard the next words. "And I want them by this evening." "But that's impossible. The seals don't come up out of the water again until tomorrow morning." "Oh, you come with me and I will show you where there are many, many seals." And so the seal catcher mounted the tall black horse behind the gentleman, and that horse took off so fast the seal catcher almost fell off. On and on the horse flew until they stopped at a very isolated place. It was at the edge of a precipice. They dismounted, and the seal catcher walked to the edge of that cliff, and he looked down with a shiver of apprehensive. Why had he decided to even come on this adventure in the first place? But he looked over the edge of the cliff, and it went straight down to the water. "Now, where are the seals you said that I would see?" "Oh, you'll see them in a moment," the man said. And the seal catcher looked again, and then he felt a hand on his left shoulder, and he was hurled off the cliff. And down, down, down he fell until, splash, he landed in the water. And he was sure that his life was ended. But to his surprise, he kept falling through the water. And to his amazement, he found that he could breathe under the water just as easily as you can breathe in the air. And as he fell, he looked next to him was that odd-looking man falling through the water next to him. How far they fell, I can't tell you, but when they landed at the bottom of the sea, there in front of them was a large door made of coral and decorated with seashells. And all on its own, it opened, and they walked through the door into a hallway with the walls made of mother of pearl, and the floor was yellow, hard-packed sand. And the hall was filled with, not with people, but with seals. And they all seemed very, very sad. They were murmuring and patting each other, and some of them had large tears coming from their eyes. And one by one, the seals seemed to notice him and start whispering and pointing toward him. And he thought, "Oh no, I have been brought here by some sort of magic to punish me for making my living catching seals." He looked to the sky next to him, and to his surprise, there was not a man standing next to him at all. There was an enormous seal. And when he looked at his hands, he did not have hands, he had flippers. Oh no, he thought, I am brought here now to live the rest of my life underwater as a seal, as a punishment. Oh, this is just terrible, he thought. But all the seals gathered round him, and they stroked his soft brown fur with their noses to comfort him. And they said to him, "Do not trouble yourself. Do as we ask, and we will love you forever." And then the seal next to him, his companion, went through a door at the end of the hallway. And when he returned, he was carrying a knife. "Does this look familiar to you?" And the seal catcher recognized his very own hunting knife. They had brought him here to kill him for killing seals. And he fell on his face and he began to plead for mercy. He begged for his life. But the seal next to him brought him back through that door that he had disappeared into. And there the seal catcher saw a very large seal with a wound on its side. It was lying on what looked like a bed made of pink seaweed. And his guide said to him, "This is our most beloved elder, whom you wounded this morning. We have brought you here because only the one who caused the wound may heal it." "Oh, but I don't know anything of the healing arts. There's no way I can't heal him. I don't know how. I'll try." And the seal catcher went over to the wounded seal and washed the wound. And as soon as he began to touch it, the wound began to close and heal. And in moments, there was nothing left but a scar. And the seal sprang up as well as ever. And then they went back out into the hall, and there was a great cheer from all of the seals. They gathered round their elder, and they patted him, and they laughed and celebrated his return. And all the while, the seal catcher watched, thinking dark thoughts. "I don't want to live the rest of my life underwater as a seal." And then the seals gathered round him once more time, and they said to him, "You have done as we've asked. You're free to go." And the seal next to him said, "I'll take you there myself, under one condition. You must promise that you will never hurt another seal." "Oh, anything," said the seal catcher. "I will promise anything." And so he raised his right hand, he raised his right flipper, and he solemnly swore that he would never, ever harm another seal. And there was a great sigh of relief in the hall, for he was the best seal catcher in northern Scotland. He and his guide left through the doors. They closed on their own, and they rose up through the ocean. The waters grew lighter and lighter until they emerged into the sunshine. And then, with one mighty magic leap, they were back up on the edge of that precipice and in their human form. And there was the horse waiting for them, nibbling on the tender green grass. They mounted the horse together, and this time the seal catcher held on tight to that strange-looking man, and they went fast as the wind. In no time at all, they were in front of the seal catcher's home. The seal catcher dismounted, reached up to thank the gentleman, and the gentleman said, "Never let it be said that we have taken away a man's way of caring for his family." And he put a heavy, small bag in the seal catcher's hand. And then he disappeared. The seal catcher went inside, and when he emptied that bag, it was full of gold. Enough gold for the seal catcher to live very comfortably the rest of his life, and to care for his sons and their families when they had him for their lives. And the seal catcher kept his promise. He never again harmed another seal. Instead, he became a storyteller, and this story is just one of the stories he told.